So for this challenge, I'm drawing my little icon thingy, which is a red panda. So I found a reference photo where it had this really cute red panda sitting in a tree. So I decided to use it as a reference. Yeah, so I started out with a really basic sketch, basically just making everything like ovals and ovalish shapes. And I kept it very basic because after this I'm going to do another sketch that has more details in it before I do the line work. I'm not entirely sure why I planned to do it like this, but I did. With with a textured brush. With a textured brush. So now started on the second sketch layer, and I'm just adding in like a few details and sharpening some lines and adding some details, mostly around like the face and the tail. So before I did the actual line art, I decided that I would go ahead and do the base color. And I've been wanting to experiment with the watercolor brushes on here. And so I decided to do that. This is really my first time like really using them in a project. And I found that one, you need to keep it like in one stroke so that it doesn't layer where you don't want it to. And then also for shading, just layer it. I really enjoyed using the watercolor brushes. Then for the line work, I was going to try doing colored lines, which I haven't really done before in a lot of my work. So this was also kind of a first time thingy as well. So when I was picking my color, I tried a lot of different colors. To get the one that I actually used, I actually looked at the base color of the drawing, and that helped me decide which one to do, because I was having trouble before. And then I also used black lines for the like legs and the tree. For the legs, I did it because their fur gets darker, so the red lines would look weird down there, I think. So I decided to switch it and use black for that part. So then I roughly erased the edges of the color that overlapped the design. Eventually I did erase them all neatly, but originally I was going to keep it with messily colored in. And then I added a new layer and I picked a slightly pinkish white to do the white highlights, especially on like the panda's face. Then I added dark red for the rings on its tail. I also did that for the shading in its like legs and underbelly. And then I also want to make the dark circles, the dark rings on the tail look more natural, so I added a couple more colors there. And then I darkened the overall color of the panda by lightly using the watercolor brush. Then I decided to erase the color that had gotten outside of the lines. At this point it could be any red panda, so to make it mine, I added his little blue hat on top of him. I tried drawing it on, just regularly, like actually on the drawing, but after going through a lot of different tries, I didn't find one that I liked, so I decided that I would just draw it to the side and then move it onto the panda. And that way I actually got something that I liked. I think what I was struggling with before was overlapping it with the original drawing. And then I traced over the lines before erasing the original hat. And then I started experimenting with like background colors. Because it was done in watercolor, you could see the color underneath it. So after trying a few things, I decided that I'd just do a circle behind it. And at first I picked pink, and then I went through a couple different colors. But eventually I decided that the pink one looked the best, so I just went back to a little pink circle. I think the pink one looked the best because it wasn't very noticeable behind the red panda. So here's the final product. I liked how it turned out. It was really fun to use the watercolor brushes, and it was fun to play around with those. I will be posting a video this Saturday, hopefully. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked it.